This pastor thinks it's an outrage that Christians are forming churches and meeting in their own homes.
The home church, the house church movement, is not of God.
Oh, this should be interesting. Please do tell us why.
See, the problem with the home church movement is they have rejected the ruling clergy.
Sounds like someone is worried about losing the control of the paycheck, yeah?
So a bunch of Christians without a pastor or an elder, they decided to gather together to be the church, they say, and they don't need a pastor or an elder to rule them. They're going to let Christ be their ruler.
Well, obviously, home churches can never have these kind of people.
From those 12 apostles, they went on and ordained elders and bishops, so they would be their successors. Why? Because Christ built an apostolic church.
Wow! Those guys must be really old now.
Home church movement, they don't have ruling bishops and ruling elders. Therefore, they're not the church.
I know. You're saying don't throw more Bible verses at us. You'll just make things more clear. Well, let's look at Romans chapter 16, verse 5. It says, and this is Paul, greet also the church that meets at their house. Or 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 19. The churches in the province of Asia send you greetings. Aquila and Priscilla greet you warmly in the Lord, and so does the church that meets where? At their house. Or how about Philemon, chapter 1, verse 2? To Apphia, our sister, and Archippus, our fellow soldier, and to the church that meets in your what? In your what? Yeah, let's finish the sentence together. Home. I'm just thinking out loud here, but, Christians were persecuted and hunted down. And 1.1 million people did die at the fall of Jerusalem in about 70 AD. So I'm just thinking that it was probably risky to build a church building and have people meet there. I mean, Christianity wasn't really legalized until 313 AD, right? So for those of us that love Christ and decide not to meet within the walls of solitude, sitting there in the church pews, having things spoon-fed to us, those of us that are opening our Bibles, those of us that are going out into the rest of the world, like I did in Vietnam, where we couldn't meet in a church building, you couldn't build a church building. Well, unless you were Catholic. And the Catholics there believe that the baby Jesus was deposited by a dragon into a cave. Yeah, that's literally what's allowed in Vietnam. And the so-called Universal Catholic Church there. No, Christians that wanted to bring Bibles into Vietnam couldn't do that even. You could print them there, you can't bring them in. So we ended up meeting in house churches. That's the only place we could meet, okay? Yes, at one point, Christians were trying to meet in ballrooms in hotels, but the police came in and said, no, you're not going to do that anymore. So we're only left with the ability to meet in house churches and spread the word to word, like they did in the first century, because they didn't have the New Testament printed out in Bible form. There was no such thing at that time, okay? It was word of mouth. It was people meeting, spreading the word the way Christ designed it to be. Okay? So, tune in next time. New episode coming up. And I promise you I'll have some interesting things to say in that as well. Thanks for tuning in.